All right, well, we're recording. Everybody, welcome to the call tonight. Today is November 19th, and oh my goodness, Thanksgiving is next week. Holy cow. So welcome to the call tonight. We're really excited to bring you guys some training on doing Facebook events and Facebook shows. And so we want to talk to you a little bit tonight about why that's an area that you might want to consider and might want to explore. And then the kind of do's and don'ts of things to do on Facebook and how to get, how to make it most effective. And then strategically how to get Facebook shows, run Facebook shows, and then a little bit about how to work with your host to make them really successful. So we're going to give you a big overview of everything tonight. And then we've got some training sites and things that we're going to send you to that will give you more of the nuts, bolts, and the pieces that you need to be able to run this. So I'm glad you guys were able to take time tonight to join us. So we've got some great information coming to you. I'm Carpenter, your executive director, and we have a couple different directors on that will be helping out with the training tonight. Esther Adkins and Courtney Cheney, you can see them on the line right now, and we might have a couple other people that end up chiming in that come in and help us, but we're going to go ahead and get started. So first of all, we just want to talk a little bit about why you would consider doing a Facebook show and why we're kind of bringing this training out to you. And when I went to executive seminar to represent our team, all the executive teams in the company, they bring the leaders together once a year. And at this past executive seminar in September, we were with Tracy Britt-Cool, our CEO, and she said something from stage that really struck me. And she's just brilliant in the things that she's doing to help move our company forward into the future and in today's world. And she said that it's not all about the cooking show. And don't take that wrong. She didn't mean that the cooking show is not important. The cooking show has always been the basis of our business. But usually the cooking show was the only part of our business. And today's world has really evolved and changed. And there's a lot of other ways that we can sell our products and meet our customers' needs besides just at the cooking show. And the statement that Tracy made that really stuck with me is she said, you know, in today's busy world, we might get our customers to a show one time a year, but what if we could get those same customers to order from us 4 times a year? What would your business look like? So, hold on, let me mute. I think we've got some feedback coming in. So how about if I mute everybody's line and then Courtney and Esther, y'all unmute when that would probably be the easiest. Let me just go mute everybody. Okay, can y'all still hear me? Okay, so we got everybody muted, and then when we have to do questions and stuff, we'll be able to unmute. We were just getting a lot of feedback. So, okay, I think we're good to go now. So she made the statement of what if we could get that one customer, the customer that, you know, comes once a year to order from us 4 times a year. And I really started thinking about that. And, you know, 10 years ago in my business, for me to get customers to order from me 4 times a year was actually rather difficult and a lot of work on my part because we didn't have the technology and the avenues by which to stay in touch with and reach our customers that we do today. So even though in a way technology, I think, disconnects our world a little bit, it also does connect our world. And so it's not going away. So it's part of our world. There's no denying that. So why not use that to our advantage and use that to work for us? So you can already see that Tracy is doing some really neat and different things. The BOGO sale that we had this month, never in the history of me being with this company have we ever had a buy one, get one free sale. So that's really phenomenal. And so she's finding some new and different ways for us to be able to touch base with our customers. And I was talking to one of our directors the other day, and she said to me, you know, I've never been strong, and most of us in the early years were not strong with customer care because we weren't really trained to be. But customer care is really important in today's world because people can do business lots of different places, and you want to give them a reason to do business with you. And so she said to me, you know, not that my customer care is the greatest, but it's better than it's ever been, and I'm taking better care of my customers than I ever have. And through different ways of technology enables us to do that. So this Facebook show idea is just one way of being able to do business a new and different way. So when we share this tonight, don't think that we're promoting to do this in place of your cooking shows. but this is the thing that you can do in addition to your cooking shows. And sometimes people have schedules that don't allow them to do cooking shows during certain weeks that are busier than others. So this is a way you can still keep your business running. And in the months that you can do shows every week, then this is also a way to be able to bring in additional sales in addition to the sales that you would bring in from your cooking show. So something I really want you to think about as you listen to this training tonight and get off the training tonight is people are going to spend money. They're spending money for the holidays. Okay. They're out there buying products for their holiday baking, for gift giving and all of that. So why not let them spend it with you? And as many shows as I have booked, and our directors and some of you guys have booked between now and the end of the year, we have a lot of shows scheduled, but we can only reach so many people at those live cooking shows because physically only so many shows can be held and only so many people can come. And the Facebook avenue gives us a way to be able to reach a lot more people in addition to the people coming to our cooking shows between now and the end of the year. So just think about this as really plussing your business. So we're going to kind of get into the nuts and bolts of this. And that's just kind of an overview of why we're really stepping up and wanting to give you these tools. And this is something that can work for you right now, that can help you book shows right now, book additional shows over the holidays to close out for November if you need additional sales for November, and also a way to keep sales running through December. So I think that Esther is going to take it next. Esther, I can unmute you if you need me to.
I got it. Thank you, love. I wanted to start out talking to you just a little bit about social media in general and some etiquette. And Courtney is going to jump in and talk about anything that I've missed or forget to say during this part. When you think about being on Facebook, I think you really have to understand that it is a social place, the same as it would be if you're interacting with people at church or at work. It's very much, there's not a difference between how you interact with people in places where you're physically together with them and how you interact with them on Facebook, or at least there shouldn't be. So if you think about what is appropriate and how you present your business and yourself around your friends and family and other parts of your life, you need to present yourself much the same way on Facebook. And there are some basic rules to follow. And one of the things that you need to not ever do and really stay away from is becoming that person who is constantly selling something every single day of the week, every time you post. For one thing, it's extremely annoying and it's going to cause frustration among your friends, which is the opposite of what you want your business to create. But it also is not productive. So I'm not going to ask anybody to raise hands and I'm not going to call anybody out. But if you think about the posts that you've made over the last couple of months, and I know a lot of us are guilty of putting up posts about, hey, have a party with me. This is the special. You can get this for $20, whatever. Well, think about how much results you've gotten from those posts. I think a lot of people do it out of habit and you post kind of the same thing over and over again, but you see the same results over and over again, which is not any at all. So we're going to tell you what to do, but I want to start out by telling you what not to do. And I wanted to just kind of give you an example. And I know sometimes when we screen share, you can read and sometimes you can't. So I'm going to attempt to screen share. And just a little disclaimer, if any of my crazy friends post or message anything during this, we're going to be on my live Facebook page. So I'm going to apologize for all of my acquaintances in advance. So let's see if you guys can read it. If you can't, I'll just talk to you. But if you can read it, it's going to make it a lot easier.
Esther, do I need to make you the host of screen share? Or can you?
No.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. Can you all read the screen?
Yes, I can.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So this is an example of a post that I see a lot. Okay. Now I don't know how to make this go away. There we go. Okay. This is an example of a post. Can y'all see the little thing that keeps coming down in front of my screen? Probably not.
We see the August product reveal outline.
Okay, yeah, I know. I have these little meeting controls in front of that are messing me up. Okay, so this is a post that I see from you guys a lot. So this is a cute picture of the rock crock with all these yummy recipes in it, right? I can't really tell what they are, but it's an awesome collage. It took somebody a lot of time when they probably could have been booking shows to make this. but I just copied it off Google, so it took me about 10 seconds. And beneath that, I said, get the Rock for 60% off as a November host. Who wants to have a party? Message me. And the first hour that post was up, it had 0 interaction. Courtney and I were actually on the phone looking at it at the same time. There were no likes and no comments at all. Since then, the only comment is from a lady that I go to church with who is completely kidding. She's basically talking about how crazy she is and that she could be a party all by herself. So she posts down below, and then I reply to her. And then of the whopping 4 likes that I've gotten, all but 1 are consultants. And the one is someone I know well who's definitely not a lead in any way, shape, or form. So I have gotten 0 results from this post, and it's now been up for 2 hours. So to give you a little bit of contrast and kind of a what to do. So this is what I see people do a lot. And what happens when people see that in their newsfeed, they feel advertised to, they feel sold to, and they're going to ignore you if you message them anytime in the near future because they know what you want. You already played all of your cards. You showed your whole poker hand right on your wall on Facebook. So this is a big, huge what not to do. But now at the same time, you want people to know that the Rock is amazing. You want people to know everything it can do. You have a huge audience on social media if you're playing your cards right. So you want to look at what are some ways that I can reach out to people that are helpful and they get really great results, but are not annoying. So we're going to give you some different options. But this is one that I see all the time. And every time I see this come through my newsfeed, I literally wish I could crawl through and if any of you watched NCIS, like slap you because it doesn't work. So stop putting this stuff up on Facebook. You're making people hide you. They're going to run from you in the grocery store and be afraid that you're going to sell to them. They're going to try not to sit beside you at church, and they're definitely not going to message you to book a show. So this doesn't work. And I don't want to offend anybody, but I'm totally okay with stepping on your toes because it just doesn't work. So stop. So the thing that does work amazingly well, go on Pinterest, go on Google, go on the Pampered Chef website and search by product. Grab an easy and amazing recipe with a great picture. The picture is huge. Post without pictures on Facebook really don't get any attention at all. It would have to be extremely short or extremely sarcastic or very controversial for it to get any attention if it doesn't have a picture. So grab a really great picture of a recipe, a simple recipe, and a product that you love, maybe that's on special, maybe you want to promote, and post that recipe and the picture. And notice what's not on this post. So for those of you that can see, there is nothing on this post about, oh my gosh, book a show with me and I'll make this at your party. There's nothing on this post about, oh my gosh, this is 60% off for hosts this month and all you have to get is $200 in orders. Message me today and I'll send you a catalog, right? There is nothing on this post that is sales related at all. So it's the recipe, it's a really great picture, and all I said in the post was, who has a rock crock? Oh my gosh, you need this in your life. So here's the difference in the interaction. 25, whoops. I have no idea what just happened. No. Okay, there we go. So 25 likes, a whole string of comments, and this up top, this is gold. So right up top, between the likes and the comments, you'll see where it says 3 shares. So not only did the people on my friends list see this post and like it and comment on it, but 3 of them liked it enough that they shared it with a message to their friends, which essentially shared my page and my information at the same time. So that's a very, very effective post. Now, what you can't see from this post is kind of the aftermath. So what I do when I post something like this, and notice that you can't tell that this has happened at all by looking at this picture. So what I do is I look at the comments, and a couple of them are consultants. One of them is a former consultant that I stay in touch with, but I happen to know that she doesn't have a rock. A couple of them are customers. But then I go up here to these 25 likes, and I pull up this whole list of people. And I'm going through that list, and anyone who is not a consultant and is not someone who I know has a rock crock that they've purchased from me, I'm sending a private message and saying, hey, I saw you liked that spinach lasagna recipe I posted. Do you have a rock crock? Do you need any more recipes? And if they come back with, no, I don't have a rock crock, but that recipe just looked amazing, then I'm going to say, well, you know, how long since you've been to a Pampered Chef party? That rock crock's on special for $50 this month. I would love to come and teach you recipes and let you see what all we have in our product line. We could do a cooking class of some kind. So I'm engaging them in conversation, offering them a service, and then asking how long since they've been to a party and looking for the booking. Or maybe even the recruit lead, depending on what they're like, how that conversation goes. So almost every time I post a recipe that gets this much activity, I book at least one show. I booked 2 shows off this post, one for November, one for December. So the thing that's important, though, is that all that happens through private messaging. So I'm not letting anyone else know except for that person that this is going on. So it's not in the comments. If someone comments and asks me about that, I'll just reply back and say, I'll message you. And that way, that whole conversation is private, and I can choose how it goes with each person, and it might even be a little different because it's personal. It's like having conversations with 4 different people you go to church with between the pew and the front lobby on Sunday morning. So this is what you want to see. The other thing that this does is it builds your readership. So something really important on Facebook is that Facebook has a very complex system for who sees what posts. So if you never post on Facebook, if you go on, you stalk everybody else's page, maybe you change your profile picture every 6 months, when you do post, no one sees what you post because they haven't had the opportunity to interact with you before then. So maybe 3 or 4 people are going to see what you post. The more often you post and the more people like and comment on what you post, the more people see what you post. So a lot of us have our posts set to private. Like to where only our friends can see them. So if we say something about being out of town, or we post a picture of our babies, or we say something that's a little more personal, the general John Q. public can't see what we post. And that's important to protect ourselves that way. But when you're posting a recipe or something that's advertising your business without advertising, it's a helpful piece of information that's going to carry your business with it. You want to make sure that people can see what you post. And so down here at the bottom of your post, you want to make sure that this little guy right here is set to public. So when Susan tags her best friend Jane and says, Jane, this is what I was telling you about, you need one of these, Jane's going to have to be able to see it, and she can't do that unless you have it set to public. If someone shares it, the only way people other than your friends can see it once it's shared is if it's set to public. So that little setting is important, and you need to remember to go and change it back to friends when you're back to posting about pictures of your dog and your family and your crazy mail lady and whatever else it is we post about. But when you're building readership, it's important that you post on Facebook. And a really important statistic and kind of a rule for Facebook is that 80 to 90% of your interactions should be 100% fun, personal, or service-oriented. So pictures of my kid, pictures of my little boy, fun little memes that I see, encouraging posts, cute cat videos, recipes, things that have nothing to do with, hey, buy my product, but are fun for other people to look at. And you want to choose things that people are going to interact with. So something that you know is going to be a heart tug and people are going to like it and share it. Something that you know is a little bit sarcastic but funny. And you want to be careful about being very opinionated. Like there are a lot of issues that I will kind of shy away from a little bit when I'm posting so that I'm not alienating a huge section of my readership. But Facebook is all about how often you post and who interacts with you. And the more people interact with you, the more people will see what you post. So for those of you that are Facebook friends with me, you know I'm an obnoxious poster. I'm very extroverted. I'm on Facebook every day, and I'm always chit-chattering about something. And so you'll see, I mean, here's the last couple of days on my wall. So the little quiz that was going around about what your most common words are used on Facebook. To be honest with you, I could care less what my most common words are used on Facebook. But the reason that I posted this and shared it is because I know it's going to get liked, and I know people are going to click on it to go and take the quiz themselves. So I also know that that's going to make sure that everybody who's clicked through that post to go and take this quiz is now going to be seeing everything I post for the next 3 to 5 days. So it's important that people are interacting with you. There's I guess I could delete this horrible post. I've been so upset that this post was up there all evening, but I needed it for an example. So let me get rid of that while I'm right here. All the evidence is gone. So Courtney took this awesome picture of my little boy earlier. This is, I mean, I love this picture. I would have shared it either way, but 106 people have liked this picture, and then I have 10 or so comments. So all of those 106 people are now going to be seeing everything that I post for the next 3 to 5 days. Plus, hopefully they smiled when they saw it, because, I mean, really, how could you not? That's a really great picture. Courtney took that perfectly. I've been sharing some things about the refugee situation. That's a political hot topic. It is very important to me, so that's personal. But I also, again, I know I'm getting interaction, because not only is it a political topic at the moment, but it's a little bit controversial. So there's going to be some debate going on those posts. This is another great example. This recipe I shared earlier. And this isn't really going to get me bookings or anything, but it's getting people interacting with me. And you know that as they're clicking on it, they're remembering, oh yeah, that's the Pampered Chef lady from the party I went to the other day. So here's another example of just a post that's a great post to share. There's nothing in this about Pampered Chef. This isn't, hey, come to my holidays in a hurry party and you're going to get to make this awesome popcorn that you can then make for your kids. It's just a really fun recipe. And I got a ton of likes, and I got 6 shares from that. So those are just some examples, but I think the most important rule to go by on Facebook is to remember that this is just like you're in a social group. You're out to dinner with your friends, you're at church. You want to interact kind of the same way that you would, where you want people to know you're the Pampered Chef lady. You want to make sure you're giving great tips and giving recipes and offering helpful suggestions, but you're limiting the number of times you say, hey, flash sale, to times where we have $3 bamboo tools, to times where it's the end of the month and you're trying to meet director qualifications and you need to run a sale so that you're pulling in the sales that you need to work on your big goal. In December, that week before Christmas, we're all going to be selling a little bit on Facebook, because we're going to be working on our free-for-all sales and those last sales before the shipping date of Christmas. And we're going to be saying, hey, for all of you guys that forgot to buy something for your wife, we can ship and get it there all the way up until the 20th or the 21st. Like, I can help you out. So we're going to be selling. But because we know that's coming up, we're not going to sell as much between now and then, so that when we do, it's a 1 or 2 day thing. People are happy to jump in and help out. It's an exception rather than the norm. And we can kind of go back to our regular programming. So those are a couple things that are super important as far as Facebook etiquette. And I rambled on way longer than I planned. Is there anything that I didn't say, Courtney, that you're chomping at the bit to remind everybody of?
I don't think so. You did an amazing job. And I really hope everybody who's I think sometimes with training, sometimes it's easy to be half listening, half not listening. And I really hope that you guys picked up on everything that she was saying, because it was absolutely dynamite and it was 100% on it. So we're recording this. So I would encourage everybody to go back and listen to this once a month, at least that part that Esther talked about, because it is such a good reminder for all of us. So great job. The only thing yeah.
Sorry. The other thing, this is important too, and I totally forgot about it. The other thing I do is I friend everybody that was at my show, literally in the driveway of the show before I leave. So you can't wait. You can't do it 2 weeks later, because then you're this creepy person that they've only met one time. And it's weird, and somebody will report you for spam, and then you'll go to Facebook jail. Ask Reagan about that next time you see her. It happens to her all the time. But whenever, literally in the driveway that night or first thing the next morning, where I'm still Esther and I'm still the lady that they spent 2 hours with the night before and they had a great time and we connected and talked about something in their life, I send them a friend request. Almost all the time they get accepted, and I usually end up keeping in touch with these people afterwards. Because of that, I am a little more careful about posting when I'm out of town and stuff like that, just because, I don't really know all these people. But that has brought, that's payback in spades. I booked 2 shows this week from referrals from people that I haven't made a customer care call to in a while, but I was still actively interacting with them on Facebook. So,
Esther, can you tell them how to do that, the easy way to do that, to go to their host?
Oh, yeah. Thank you. If you are friends with your host, then all you have to do is go into her friends list and you can search. So I just go into the host profile. If she's done a Facebook event, a lot of times they're all in the event clicked as going. So that's super easy just to go back into the event and find them all there. But on your host, you can go into the friends and then you can actually search. And I just usually do by first name. And most of the time you recognize their profile picture. They pop right up. And usually I can do it from memory if I'm doing it that night. So it's real quick. Once in a blue moon, the host has the friends hidden and you can't see them. And then it makes it a little harder, but usually it's that simple.
Esther, I have a question. On the public, making it public, would it make any difference at this point? So for instance, I shared that lasagna post. And I had it shared actually, but would it make any difference for me to go in now and make that public? And if so, how do you do that? Or does it even matter at this point, or just from this point forward?
It does make a difference. On every post at the top right corner of that post, whether you're on your phone or you're on the computer, there's a little down arrow you can click for options and you just edit the privacy.
Well, I just was trying it as you were talking. So I hit that and I hit the edit, but I didn't see that option come up, so I wasn't sure.
It's different from the edit post. It's probably right below the edit post. It's edit.
Oh, okay. All right.
You change it.
Diana, did you say that you shared Esther's post?
I did that lasagna post a week or 2 ago, I think.
Will you talk about that, love?
Yeah, you can go ahead. I figured this would be a good time.
When you share, if I try to make sure that I give the originator credit for things that aren't directly Pampered Chef related. So if I'm sharing a recipe from a food blogger, I try to share the whole thing so that they get credit. And a lot of times their website will be tagged on the picture, and if it is, then I just grab it. But when you share something from another consultant, you're essentially advertising for that other consultant. So what you want to do, if it's any of us on our team or anybody else that's Pampered Chef that you've friended, you want to actually right click or hold down the picture and save the picture and then copy the text. If you're on your phone, you can just tap and hold and a menu will pop up that lets you copy the text. If you're on the computer, you can select it and then 2-finger click on the Mac or right click on a PC and copy it. And then you want to go make your own post with the exact same content, but it's originating from you. That way you're advertising yourself.
Yeah, I didn't mean I shared. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah. That's
yeah.
very good.
But
So,
we do have consultants.
That way,
That share, and I think they don't understand that.
Yeah, that's very important.
Yeah. So thank you for saying it that way, and thank you, Love, for catching it. And I really am going to stop talking now.
A couple of things that I kind of wanted to point out before we move on, and a couple things that I was going to kind of piggyback onto what Esther was talking about. But kind of going back to the public versus private thing, that's something that kind of like Esther, I kind of consider myself, I'm on Facebook a lot, so I consider myself kind of, I know a lot about Facebook, and that private versus public thing I didn't really understand until recently. So I'm assuming that there are probably people who don't totally understand how to do that. But yeah, any business type post, I know I'm repeating myself, but in case anybody missed it, I'm repeating Esther, but in case anybody missed it, any business type post, you do want to kind of make that public. But remember that if you're going to go post a picture of your kids after that, make sure you change it back to private, because that's one thing I didn't realize, that it actually will stick with whatever you did last. So just be mindful of that whenever you're making those posts. Another thing, I'm not sure if Esther mentioned this or not, but she talked about how important it is for you to get likes and comments on your posts. It's equally as important for you to like and comment other people's posts. And I'm sorry if you did say this, Esther. But remember that, if when your friends post pictures of their cute kids, like it and make a comment. Oh my gosh, they're so adorable. Or, Esther, your hair looks awesome like that. Or, you know, be sincere, you know, don't be fake, but be sincere. But, you know, if you think something, comment it. If you think, oh, I really like her glasses, comment on that, comment on the picture. Everybody loves to get likes and comments on their pictures. It's just, we do, everybody likes it. And it, you know, it puts you in their mind, you know. And again, not that you're not being genuine about it, but you know, the more comments and likes you comment, the more you interact with other people's pages, in turn they're going to interact with your pages. So keep that in mind. Another thing to keep in mind is, and Esther kind of touched on this, not everybody sees what you post. Facebook decides Facebook decides what posts of yours is going to show up in other people's news feeds. Okay. So, keep that in mind. You know, I have a lot of consultants who say to me, nobody ever comments when I post something about Pampered Chef. Well, it could be exactly what Esther talked about. You could have a poor audience because you've been in an advertisement for however many years. Or B, keep in mind, it might not be showing up in people's posts and so in people's news feeds. So Esther talked all about how to get that done and get yourself in people's news feeds. So just remember all that, because it's so important. And you know, with the just the recent bamboo sellout thing that we had, that kind of stuff didn't used to happen even, you know, a year or 2 or 3 years ago with Pampered Chef. And the reason that's happening now is because of social media like Facebook. It's such a powerful tool. So you want to make sure you're using that tool correctly so that you can get, you know, the business, because like Love said, people are spending money, and you want them to spend money with you, right? Yeah. Okay. So Love, do you want me to move on to, or did you need to say something in between? Move on. Okay. Kristen, did you have a question?
I did. Is this your personal page or do you have a separate business page?
Oh, that's a great question. Every consultant does this differently. What I have found works best for me is I like to do what Esther said. My personal page is 80 to 90% personal and 10 to 20% business. I like to mingle the two. I used to have a business page, and people don't like to be sold to on Facebook. They don't like advertisements on Facebook. You know, like they might like your page, but they might also hide it from their newsfeed because they're tired of seeing sales posted every day. So I don't think Facebook is really the place for that. I think it's that whole, you know, 90-10 thing. So I personally don't have a separate business page. I don't find that it's as effective as the everyday connections that I'm making.
I'll second that. I think
does that answer your question, Kristen?
Yes.
I think on my personal page, I build more of a personal relationship with my customers, even though it is just social media. I find that the conversations that we have when we see each other again at parties are more, I saw your mom was in the hospital, your little boy's getting big. It's much more of a personal connection. And I never had that when I was only interacting through a business page. Plus, the personal page allows me to message them, which you can't do with a business page. You can only reply when they interact with you. And so a personal page allows me to send a note when I see that someone's had a family emergency or a tragedy in their life, or they, you know, post something about a dinner recipe, or, you know, anything that I need to interact with them. And it's almost never about Pampered Chef. It's usually just relationship building, but that's a lot of how I keep in touch. And I could never have done that through a business page. So I just edit myself, honestly, not a ton because I'm very outgoing, but I do edit myself a little bit since I know I have a mixed audience.
Yeah, and kind of like what Esther said, keep in mind that anything you post reflects you, obviously, but it also reflects your business. And so, you know, the whole, like she said, try not to be too opinionated, don't be offensive, you know, stuff like that. If you cuss a lot in real life, maybe don't cuss a lot on Facebook. You know, it's just simple stuff like that. You want to be, I guess, politically correct, even though I hate that term. You know, you want to be as much PC as you can because you want to appeal to as many people as you can. Not to say that you can't share your personal feelings or thoughts, but just be careful with that. So we kind of spent a lot of time on talking about Facebook etiquette because I really feel like that's, you know, that's a huge chunk of, that's the most important thing. Because if you don't have good readership and a good audience within your Facebook friends, then you're not going to be able to be effective with the next part that we're going to train you guys on. So we're going to talk now a little bit about Facebook virtual parties and kind of how to get those booked and how to run those. And like Love or Esther mentioned in the beginning of this conference, is we're going to be sending you guys a lot of resources on how to conduct the parties. You know, there's bukus of resources out there. There's different Facebook groups you can join that help you with virtual parties. So if we had 4 hours, we couldn't share with you all the ideas because there's just so many great things out there. So we're going to kind of touch the surface and then send you guys the resources that you need to kind of dig deeper. But the first thing that you want to do is, you know, book your first few Facebook parties. And if you're on the line and you're like, what is a Facebook party? Basically, what we call virtual parties are you set up an event on Facebook, and it's kind of like, you know, exactly what it sounds like, a virtual cooking party. Except like, let's say that Esther is not a Pampered Chef consultant. She's my friend and she's coach. She's going to be, we set up an event for her that says, you know, Esther's virtual Facebook party. And she invites her friends to it. And then we set a date and time for this event to happen. So let's say it's going to happen Sunday night at 8:30 p.m. All of Esther's friends get on the Facebook event Sunday night at 8:30 p.m. and the party happens right there on the event. It's chock full of recipe videos, product videos, tips, sales, basically just like a party. And again, a lot of these resources are already out there for you, videos you can post. So really and truly, these virtual parties, when they go well, they get me so excited because I'm sitting there on my couch, 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, and I'm making $100 in that 30 minutes that I'm sitting there. So it's absolutely phenomenal. Now, I will say, and you do want to keep this in mind, not to be Debbie Downer, but you do want to keep this in mind, that as with any kind of, you know, when you go to a cooking party, your sales, they're not 100% guaranteed, but they're about 80 to 90% guaranteed because people are going to see the products, they're going to love them, they're probably going to buy because they're there in the middle of it. So I like to say, if you hold a Facebook party and you only sell $50, that's okay. You're normal. Everybody has Facebook parties like that. But then you're going to have the Facebook parties where you sell $300, $400, $500, $600 in sales. It's amazing. So keep that in mind. If you book 3 or 4 virtual parties in a month, you might not have 3 or 4 stellar virtual parties that month. You might have 1 or 2 great virtual parties that month. So I like to say, book as many as you can. They don't take a whole lot of your time. You can even be doing 2 at a time. I wouldn't do that the first time you do them, but you kind of get in a system where it's like clockwork and it's really easy to do. So, you know, between 8:30 and 9:15 on Sunday night, if you've got nothing better to do, you didn't waste your time if you were on Facebook for 45 minutes connecting with people, even if it's not great sales. So you want to keep that in mind. Don't be discouraged if you have a few here and there that aren't stellar, because you're building your customer base and you're building your contacts. So where you want to start, we actually have a post. We're going to give you guys a lot of words tonight, and we'll be posting them for you. But what a lot of people have done is they've started with a simple post on their own Facebook page. And something to the effect of, I'm trying out something new with Pampered Chef. It's a brand new kind of virtual cooking party. I'm looking for some beta testers. Who loves Pampered Chef and wants to help me out? Something really simple, short, and sweet. And we'll post words for you guys to use. But a lot of us have used that when we started doing it, and it was really effective. And you can even be, you know, non-specific. You know, you can just say, I'm trying out something new with Pampered Chef. It's super fun, super easy. You don't have to clean your house or anything. Who wants to give it a try? You know, comment below or message me, and I'll send you information. You know, there's a lot of different ways you could word it. But what I found when I did that was a lot of people commented, and they were curious because a lot of people love Pampered Chef. So from there, like Esther said, we want to personally message whoever shows interest. And she hit it perfect when she said that. That's key. You don't want to just show your hand and then anybody who's scrolling through can see. You know, you want to be able to have those one-on-one conversations with people to give them information. Another thing I did when I started, I made that initial post, but I also personally messaged people on Facebook who I knew loved Pampered Chef. Maybe if you have done if you've been in for a little while, maybe message people that have had parties with you in the past, or people you've met at parties who you just know love our products. If you're brand new, maybe message somebody who, I know when you're brand new, you're trying to get those cooking parties booked. Maybe message somebody who doesn't live near you and who can't, who you're not going to be able to do a cooking party for, but you know that they might be interested in helping you get started. You can message them, and just really and truly, you can message anybody. The more people you message, it's kind of common sense. The more people you ask, the more yeses you're going to get. You're going to get a lot of people who won't respond or who will not be interested, and that's perfectly fine. And you never want to take that personal, because how many times does someone send you a message or even like a text message and you see it while you're stopped at a red light and then the light turns green and you have to keep driving. So don't be offended if people, don't respond. Just move on to the next person. But when I'm personally messaging people, I like to keep it really friendly and really personal. And kind of like what Esther was saying, you want to interact with someone as if you were running into them in the grocery store and talking to them face to face. So I just keep it simple, like, hey, Esther, I hope you and your family are doing good. I just wanted to reach out to you because I'm trying out something new with Pampered Chef, and I know you love our stuff. Are you interested in hearing more? And you just want to kind of initiate a conversation about it. And from there, we'll post words, but when Love and Esther and I were talking about this, and we were talking about, what words we say when we message people, we were kind of struggling because we were like, we just talk to people. We just have a conversation with people. And that's so true. I think it's so important for you to realize, whether you're contacting about a virtual party or you're contacting about a cooking party, the person that you're talking to is a person. They're not, your next target, or they're not, somebody who, talk to them like they're your friend, and appeal to them. If you know someone who's super busy, I thought of you because these parties are so easy. You can do it in your pajamas after you put the kids to bed, and you get some free stuff, and it's a lot of fun. So really keep it personal and friendly. So one thing that I'm doing right now to kind of end out November with the Thanksgiving week, that weekend is kind of hard to book cooking parties. I'm trying to book some extra virtual parties. And so I've just kind of been messaging everyone, and just like down the line, just messaging a lot of people to get more of these virtual parties booked. So who do you ask? Pretty much everybody. And we're going to post more about that. So I'm going to kind of turn it back over to Esther, I think, and she's going to talk a little bit more about logistics of the Facebook events.
Okay. So I want to cover just the basics of how to set up an event. I think that's something that's pretty self-explanatory once you start doing it. The easiest way to do that is to set up a mock event with a couple friends that are kind of in on it, that know why you're inviting them, and go in and post and play around and just learn the ropes. You can't really mess it up if you just make a test event to try out and see if you've never done that before. I do want to screen share for just a couple seconds and show you some resources that we're going to send you to on Facebook. The first resource is, sorry, I'm going to have a really hard time with this top because of the meeting controls. The first resource that you're going to find is on Facebook. If you search, it's called the New Pampered Chef Virtual Party Success Group. And it's got about 6,000 members. So if there are multiple groups to choose from, the group with the most members is the one that you're looking for. Now, in order to be added to this group, you're going to have Pampered Chef as an employer listed in the public part of your profile. So someone who is not friends with you can see that you're a Pampered Chef consultant. So this is the group that you're looking for. The thing that you want to look for when you're in this group, there are a ton of graphics and pictures that you can pull from here, but the most important thing is going to be the pinned post at the top of the page. So when you are on your laptop or your computer, The pinned post is always the first post that you see. It's going to take you to a web page that has a ton of information. I'll actually post that where you guys can get to it tonight. It's going to take you to a web page with a ton of information about virtual parties. And then if you're on your phone or your tablet, there's actually a little tiny line at the top of the page that says view pinned post, and you'll have to click on that and it'll take you over to that post that always stays there at the top. So it's kind of a different way to get to it. So that's going to be extremely beneficial. Lots and lots of information there, and even the outline that we're going to share with you. We're going to share with you a couple of different outlines over the next day or two, but there's a sample outline in there that you can use to get started. So if you have a Facebook page booked or a Facebook party booked tomorrow, you can run off of that outline if you need to. What you need to make sure in your own profile that you just go up here to update info and make sure that your workplace that Pampered Chef is added. And you may need to go into your settings and make sure that that part of your profile is visible to the public. So right here, when you add the workplace or when you edit the workplace down here, there's the same little drop down box that you get when you're posting that says public or friends only, and you want to make sure and choose the public option there. If you're editing what you already have posted, you can go out here beside Pampered Chef and options, click the down arrow and edit, and then choose to make that post public. So the people that approve your entry into that group are going to make sure that you're a Pampered Chef consultant, at least in advertisement on Facebook, before they add you to that group. So you have to be able to see that, and you should have that anyway. You should have Pampered Chef selected with that link back to the Pampered Chef page for your friends and family and customers and everybody to see. So that's there. As far as setting up the Facebook event itself, you can go into events, which is going to be over here on the left-hand side of your screen, where all your group pages and your newsfeed options and all that is. You're going to go into events. You can do this from your phone or your tablet as well. You're going to click create up here at the top. Remember a couple things. Remember that you need a picture in your event once you have it created, because that's what's going to show up out here when people are looking through their events, and you don't want your profile picture there. You want something Pampered Chef related. The event name, that's the only information people are going to have when they get notified of the event, and based on that, they're going to decide whether to look at it or to ignore it and keep on going. So that event name should be short, sweet, and to the point, and you want it to be something that includes Pampered Chef and grabs people's attention. When you're doing a virtual party in the location, make sure that you type in there that it's at your computer. Some people will be confused thinking that they have to be at a place, and they'll RSVP that they can't go because the date and time doesn't work for them. So a lot of people will put in all caps like at your computer in your pajamas, so people realize that they don't have to physically be in a place at that time. You want to set the date and time. Once the date and time has passed, that event won't be visible without people having to search for it. So if you're running a week-long Facebook show, which is an option, you want to make sure that that date and time is at the end when you're wanting to close the party and not at the beginning when it starts. So people join the event, they're going to see your post leading up to the event. If it's a virtual party, obviously the date and time is going to be for that hour that you're all actually on the computer together, and the majority of your posts are going to be within that 1 hour. In the description, at the very top of the description box, I always make sure the link for people to order is at the top of that box, because people will not hunt for it. So the link to order needs to be at the top, and then under that you can drop down and put a little bit of information about what kind of recipes you're going to be sharing, a little bit about Pampered Chef, and sometimes I'll even put something in there about bookings or looking for consultants, like just a little description of the party. But I make sure that that ordering link is at the top of that description box. And you want to make sure it's the personal link for that party, not just your website. You don't want them to have to go look for you once they get on the website. Make sure you're grabbing that individual link off the show page tab from the show setup screen. You always want this guest can invite friends box to be checked. And then once you've created the event, oh, you know what I didn't do? So one thing I really meant to show you and I neglected to click, at the top of that create an event screen that I was just doing, it gives you an option for public event or private event. And you will always want to choose private event, because if you do a public event, everybody in your friends list is going to see what you post for that event every time you run a Facebook party. And it's very annoying and people get very frustrated by having to see it. And so you want to make sure you always choose private, and you always want to make sure that guests can invite people. So your host can invite friends, your friends can invite friends, but that way when you're posting in the event, you're not annoying everyone that you know on Facebook. You definitely always add an event photo, and then this is something else that you need to know over here where these 3 little dots are on the side of your screen. You want to be able to edit that event, and you can add a host. So if you have, you want to add your host in there, and maybe add, if you have a co-host, you can add them in. So you can add in, like, I can make Courtney the host of my event. And that's going to give her access to go in and to edit. When she invites people, it's going to list her as the host inviting them instead of her inviting them to your event. It's the name that her friends connect with. So you want to make sure and do that. The next thing that you want to do is go ahead and get a post or 2 up in the event, because when your host starts inviting, people are going to go look around in the event. So on the outline, there'll be a couple of posts that go up before the actual party itself starts. If you're doing it like an hour party, if it's a week-long party, you want to go ahead and get a fun recipe and maybe like a getting to know you post up. So you want to have a couple of posts in that event right away. So when people go and look, they're not looking at a blank event.
Esther,
Yes.
I need to ask you a question. When I try to do a party for one of my coworkers, she said she tried to copy and paste the pamper shelf, and I put her name and the date of the party. She said just come up with a bunch of numbers. Did I do it right when I done it on when I made my event on pamper shelf? Then I copy and paste and put it on Facebook. She tried to copy and paste the website and said came up with a bunch of numbers for her event.
Yeah, it's a very, very long, it used to be a very, very long link. One of the updates they made to the website just recently is that they shortened that link up for us, and you can actually customize it. So now when you set up a party on the Consultants Corner, you can click on the Show Page tab, and that tab at the bottom where you used to copy the link, now it gives you an option to edit it. So like all of my hosts are usually their last initial, their first name, PC. So like if your name is Courtney Cheney, you're going to be C. Courtney PC. That's going to be your link. So that used to be true. Like the link for the party used to be very, very long, but they have updated that for us, and it's better now.
Now, when I did do that, it just said that you can create your own event, which I did. I put her name and today's date. And when I put it on Facebook, on her Facebook page, she said she tried to try to copy and paste the website to put on her event, but it came up with a bunch of numbers. So I'm going to have to redo it again.
Okay, I'm not sure.
Are you talking about the link for the Facebook event or the link for the ordering link for the party?
The Facebook link, when I posted on Facebook and she copied and pasted. When I created it, I went to Facebook and added her on there, and when she tried to copy the links, they came up with a bunch of numbers.
It may have been, if it's a private Facebook event and she's not the host, she may have had a hard time sharing it. So you might need to edit the event and make her a host right here. I don't know if you can still see my screen, but right here where this edit button is, you can make her the host. And you can add her right here in the co-host section and make her a host, and that might help. And then she can actually go in the event, and where it says invite, she should be able to share the event. So when she goes, she should be able to share it to her wall, and then it would do it automatically instead of her having to copy and paste.
Okay, that's what I did. I didn't, because I'm still new at it. I'm still trying to play with it. trying to play with on that. So that's more what I didn't do.
Okay. Well, let us know if it's not, when you go back and play with it again, if you can't figure it out, let us know, and maybe we can go into that event and try to see what you're doing.
I want to try to I would like to go to somebody's party they're gonna have and just get an idea of how they started off when they do a party. Or
I'm going to show you a very detailed outline here in just a second that I think will help with that a lot.
Okay.
So it'll be a lot of ideas for that. The other thing that you want to really pay attention to is this new Facebook feature, and it's message guests. So in your event, you have this option to message guests. Now, I will tell you that you want to use this very sparingly because people don't like being spammed by someone that they don't know. So spamming is when you're getting unwanted advertising messages from someone that's not a personal friend. So, but with a Facebook event, it's fine. Like, I use it to send a message to everyone when I'm closing the show to say, just wanted to let everyone know that Jessica's party is going to be closing day after tomorrow. If you have any shopping that you wanted to do, go ahead and do that in the next couple of days. I would love to answer any questions that you have and give you personal assistance if you would like me to. So that message guest is a great feature to be able to reach out to everybody once during the party. But that does come across as being like an impersonal message. So you want to, people who are ordering, you want to interact with them personally in addition to that one message. But to remind everybody, hey, the party's going to close. If you would like to order, by all means, that's a good feature for that. On this virtual parties page, the link that we're going to post, there's a ton of information. There are some links to videos on Consultants Corner that are fantastic. They're from conference when they first really started talking about this concept company-wide. There are a couple of pictures that you can use as pictures inside your event as that banner picture. You all know that when you see a picture on the web that you like, you should be able to right-click it and save that picture. And you just create a folder for your virtual parties so that you have them all in one place and you're not trying to find them. They're all in one spot. There are some directions for what do you put in the event, like how do you create that, how long should it be, and there's a link right here to a sample outline, and I will get another outline posted to you guys in a couple of days. I was working on it today and didn't get it all completely finished, but the only thing you should really need to change in this outline is the specials, monthly specials. You'll have to grab the current ones. So this is featuring mostly the new products. It's very detailed about the information that you can copy and paste into that description box on your event that talks about shipping and details about how to order. And then it gives you the post. Now, this is assuming that the Facebook party is a 1-hour event at a particular time and date. But you can take all of these same posts and spread them out over a week. There'll just be a couple, obviously, that you won't need. So this would be a day before the event, game to post. Now, you understand if you're offering giveaways, those are like the small season's best, quick cut paring knives, the holiday cookie recipe cards, things that we can order really inexpensively off the supply order. And then we can either add them to their order at your own cost when you close out their party, or you can drop it in the mail with a stamp. I usually make sure I do include wording on the giveaways that says added to your order because I want to give things away to people who are shopping, not to people who just happen to drop by. So there's a little game. There's some posts leading up reminding people that the party is coming up. And these are really important. Like the events where I've done and forgotten to post these, I have had very little attendance. The events I've done where I've posted these as directed, I've gotten good involvement because people were like, oh yeah, that's tonight. I want to make sure I have my kids in bed early. I want to be there. So you post 15 minutes before, 5 minutes before, and then there's some simple directions. So if you're all going to be together posting for an hour, people are going to need to refresh their screen to see the new posts. So there's some information about that. And if you're posting over a week, other than the game, you're going to want to pull the game out. You don't need any of this stuff if you're posting over a week. So you can skip down to the product stuff. So this post number 5 is a great place to start. So it's the fun little happy spoon saying, poem, whatever you call it, and a video. And when you post that link in for the video and you hit enter after the video, it's going to actually put the video in the post itself. So it's going to be neat. So the new Happy Spoon video there, and this is kind of where you would start if you're kicking off for a week. So Samantha, you were saying ideas about how to start and what do other people do for parties. This is kind of where you would start if you're running this over a week or two's worth, or a week, like 5 to 7 days worth of time. When I say a week, I really mean about 5 days. So then here's another great example. So to use this, you can do one of 2 ways. There's some directions on the virtual party page that talk to you about how to drag the post in. It makes it easier, but the simplest way to do it is to right-click the pictures, save them into a file, and then just copy and paste the text, and then copy the text and go paste it into your post on Facebook and add in the picture. Here's a great post about the cutlery and then the sharpener for the green knives. Great post about the Nourish bowls, some great pictures. Everything you post needs to have a picture with it. So the picture's right here. Here's a fun game. Another recipe. You get the idea. So this is something that we're sending you. You can literally copy and paste these posts directly off of this outline. Make sure that you're grabbing the correct specials. Like I said, these are older specials. Make sure you're grabbing the current specials, but everything else is really very up to date. You'll notice that there are a variety of products. So as you're adding to this and kind of changing it up to be personal to you, you want to make sure that you have a selection of products that are in the $100 to $200 range. So those power tools that people will book a party to get for free. You want to make sure you have some products that are in the $50 to $80 range, so the people that are planning to spend that amount of money have something that they can shop smart and buy. You want to have some $20 to $30 products and a couple of $10 and under products, so there really is something for everybody. You want to make sure that you're not stuck in one price point, that your posts vary across different price points. And videos are fantastic. Pampered Chef channel on YouTube, the Pampered Chef Facebook page, the Pampered Chef Pinterest page, are all really great places to pull videos and pictures for things like this. Recipes you can grab off your own personal website, and then that particular link is actually going to come back to you, which is really cool. So when they go look at that recipe, they're going to be on your webpage, which is nice. So you want to make sure. You want to have a couple things that are fun. You want to have a variety of products, and you want to have some great recipes and tips in there too, so that even if they just come and browse, there's going to be something they want to make for their family and they have a takeaway even if they don't shop. So the logistics of this are really very, very simple. You're posting these posts. The other thing about this that's important, and this is the challenging part, but you want to go back and make sure you're interacting with everyone who's commenting on your posts. So those conversations that you're having as they're asking questions and they're participating in the games, and you're creating conversation under these posts. So you want to make sure that you're checking your notifications in between every post and going back and following up with people who are participating. So there's an ongoing conversation happening. So I would like to hear from you guys. First of all, I know that was a rush as far as the details, but we really felt like the details were not, as far as how you post, were not nearly as important as how to get the parties and what the importance of is with the parties, and then how to work with the host. Like we feel like those things were a lot more important. Are there any questions that you guys have that are about the logistics? Like, do you feel like if you set up an event and go and play with it and post a little bit, that after you do a couple of posts, you'll feel pretty comfortable? Okay. So if you need help, be sure and reach out to your director. We don't mind at all to help you figure out how to do those details. We were just assuming that most of you were probably pretty comfortable with that already, so we didn't want to spend a lot of time on that. I would like to hear from you guys. I know I heard Courtney mention that she next week. I know Love has already mentioned that she's working with a couple of her people to do the same thing. I know for me, I'm going to be in West Virginia for a good chunk of that time. So it's very important for me to have some shows to do while I'm there that I can do from anywhere. So I know that all of us need more shows for the end of November, and this is a really great way to add them. I would like to hear from you guys what some of your goals are. If I had a magic wand and could hand you all the bookings in the world, how many virtual parties would you like to do next week? We have the whole tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday to reach out to people. How many virtual parties would you guys like to add to your calendar next week? Diana is saying 5. Kristen, is that a 5 or 4? 5? Okay. Lisa is saying 5. Kat is saying 3. Samantha is saying 5. April's 3. Stephanie, Lisa, did you guys have a number? Stephanie, is that 3? Okay. Lisa saying 5. Awesome. So as you guys are reaching out and messaging people and asking, know that a lot of the people you're going to message may never respond back to you at all. And that's just Facebook world. So they didn't get the message that they're supposed to act like they're in a normal social setting with you. But just know that if you send enough of those messages and you reach out to enough people, you're going to get results. So we're going to talk about that in some more detail in just a second. Love?
So both Susan and Samantha at some point had their hand raised, and I don't know if that was an accident or if y'all were trying to ask a question. Susan or Samantha, do y'all have a question?
Well, I was just going to say that I was going to try to do 5, and I couldn't figure out how to say it on here. So I'm like, okay, I can't find the spot, and I just raised my hand.
Okay, all right. So we got Susan down for 5. And Samantha, your hand was up much earlier when we were training. So I didn't know if you hit it by mistake, but I know that you asked a question since then. So are you covered for now?
Well, I'm still trying to learn how to play with it. So
yeah,
because I've kind of been here on Earth, that's why I kept playing with my phone because I'm still new at it.
We all are, Samantha. So don't worry, we're all new at this Facebook show thing.
Still kind of hard because I'm still trying to promote my business. I'm still telling people about deals, what we're having special. It's getting like I was supposed to have 2 parties like 2 weeks ago. They canceled. I had supposed to have one last month. Well, this next month they canceled because they don't think nobody's going to show up. But when I was talking earlier about the copy and pasting, she was wanting to show some of her family members that's out of state that can go to the website.
Well, what we're fixing to cover, I think, will help you a lot, Samantha, because we're going to talk about how you can use these Facebook shows that you get set up to actually turn into live cooking shows. So do we still have Jennifer on here? She was on here, but now I don't see her. Jennifer?
I think she left.
Okay. When she ran some Facebook shows, and maybe if she doesn't come back on before we get off, we'll get her in the next one. But she ran the Facebook shows she ran. She was very successful at booking cooking shows from her Facebook shows. And I want her to be able to tell you exactly how she did it, but I know what she did. She was very intentional in working personal messaging with everyone involved in the show. So when people would say they were going to the show, or they might be going to the show, or when they would interact and comment and things like that, she would personal message them and start personal conversations with everyone that was attending the show. And that's how she got her cookie shows booked out of that. I think she had a couple of Facebook shows in a week and booked either 6 or 7 cooking shows from those Facebook shows, in addition to booking some Facebook shows and adding some new people to her team. So we'll have her share more about her exact wording and what she did, but she was very successful with that. But it's because she reached out to those people, engaged in them, and really started carrying on conversations with them. And she didn't just message them and say, hey, do you want to have a show? She would start talking to them about something, about their post or something, again, going back to what Esther was talking about earlier, communicating with them just like she would communicate with them at a party or a church or anywhere else, and built that into something that turned into them booking a show. So we kind of want to wrap up with talking to you about how to treat your Facebook shows just like a cooking show. And what we mean by that, there is a new little high rider in our company, Becky Adams, and she has had huge success. She's been with the company a short 15 months. She promoted to director in her first 4 months of business and has actually had 4 more people come on her team that have also promoted to director. And their team is just out of control, crazy growing. And they do a lot with Facebook, but they also do a lot with cooking shows. Their whole team has a good cooking show business, but they also supplement that with Facebook shows. Becky personally holds a minimum of 8 Facebook shows every single month. So she has that in addition to her cooking shows, not in place of her cooking shows. So she has a goal to hold no less than 8 Facebook shows in a month. And what I love about our business is that we all have options and we can work our business however we want to and do, different things work for different people. So some people choose to run the hour-long Facebook show where everyone comes together on a specific night, Wednesday night at a certain time, and you run that show for a short amount of time. And everybody's there at the same time. Some people choose to run their shows over a week-long period, and you just have to choose what works for you. I think there's pros and cons to both. Like there is something neat about everybody coming together at one time, and that has a lot of power in getting results. But sometimes that's not always practical for everybody to come together at that same amount of time. So I know that we've seen both be very effective. Becky, she sets all of her Facebook shows up on a certain day and closes them on a certain day. So during a normal month, she sets her Facebook shows up on Tuesday, closes them on Monday, and does not do the hour-long thing. But there's a lot of people that do the specific date and time that are very successful with that too. So you just have to pick what works for you. And there's no right or wrong way with this. And we talked about earlier how there's no exact science to this. You might set up a Facebook show and do a Facebook show and get one order that you have to submit as an individual order, or get a $50 order. But there will also be those shows that you set up that do amazingly well. And the difference is most of the time, now sometimes you can do everything right and your host still doesn't quite do what you asked her to do, and so you still don't quite get the results you were going for. But for the most part, if you really work with your host, and these are some tips that I got from Becky talking with her and asking her some of the things she was doing in her business, she made the comment to me that she treats every Facebook show just like a cooking show. She does all the host coaching with them just like a cooking show. And a couple of the big tips that I picked up when she was talking, when she works with, and we do this too, when we work with our cooking show host, we have a goal for them to work to get 12 to 15 guests at the show. And so that's the goal they're working at. So when Becky's working with her Facebook host, she's working with them to get 30 people going to the event. That's like their attendance goal, to get 30 people that actually join and say they're going to the event. So she's giving them those same goals to work towards, just like you do in a cooking show. And guess how she's doing all this? By the telephone. She calls them and talks to them. So she doesn't just set up a Facebook show and add her host add her Pampered Chef host as the host of the Facebook event and then just see what's going to happen. She really works with her host and talks to them about how to invite people and gets them excited about the specials and finds out what they're interested in and encourages them to invite and how to help get attendance up, and does all the same things she would do for a cooking show, and stays in touch with them by texting or personal messaging and following up on those phone conversations that she had. So she doesn't just leave that Facebook show to chance and just set it up and see what might happen. She really works it, and she really gets results from that. And she gets a ton of bookings and cooking shows booked off her Facebook shows, as well as team members to join her team. So I think that being intentional, and I really love how she said she handles it like a cooking show. And the other way that she handles it like a cooking show is that, and I'm talking about what she does because I haven't done a lot of Facebook shows. So I was really looking for someone who had been very successful with it to get some guidance from. And so she says that she also does full service checkout with all of her guests at the show. And I'm like, so what does that look like? So I'm just thinking virtual world, Facebook. So I said, so what do you mean? You like personal message everybody? She said, oh no, once they order, I have their phone number. I call them all. So she calls every single person that orders on that Facebook show and does a full service checkout with them, just like she would at the show, by phone. She calls them and asks them, did they find everything that they were looking for okay? She makes a comment about whatever product they purchased. If they purchased a brownie pan, do they need recipes for that? If they purchased a food chopper, was this something that a friend had told you about, or how did you know, how'd you find out about our food chopper? Just ask questions about what they're ordering to kind of get that rapport started. And then she asked them, hey, would you like to do your own Facebook show, or do your own cooking show if they're local? See if they want to do a cooking show, and just have that conversation. Ask them if they're, would be interested in the business. We're looking for people that would like to earn extra income right now and be a part-time consultant or be a career consultant with our company. And she recruits a lot of people through these phone calls and gets a lot of her bookings through these phone calls. So I loved how she treats it just like a cooking show. So don't be afraid to try this. I know that if you've never done a Facebook show, this is a lot of information tonight. But don't be afraid to try it. You really can't mess this up. Just put it out there. I mean, oh my goodness, the stuff I've had to learn with technology. So we're going to get you the outline. We're going to get you in the right group so that you can get the photos and stuff for your Facebook shows, and just try it. It doesn't have to be the perfect show. It doesn't have to go exactly like perfect every time, but you can't get good at this and you can't get this going if you don't just step out there and try it. So we want to encourage everyone to try. I think what the lowest number we got was 3. Everybody wanted to do at least, I think that's right. Everybody wanted to do at least 3 Facebook shows over the Thanksgiving holiday. So you guys can totally do this. And so we're going to send you we're going to post some wording that you can put up on your page and that you can personal message people. But again, when you're personal messaging people, like Courtney said earlier, tweak the words we give you a little bit so it's a personal conversation with you and that person instead of more like an ad going out to that person, because you'll get your response better if it's more of a personal communication. But if you'll put this out there and get a couple of these shows booked and get things going, we'll be real supportive in getting you the information and helping with trading photos with you. And when the specials change, we'll make sure we post on the Facebook page so you're not having to always go find a new outline and get you new specials to go with. So I guess the biggest thing I can leave you with is treat this just like a cooking show and you will get amazing results. And just like our cooking shows, we go and we do some cooking shows that are in sales, and then we go do some cooking shows that are fabulous in sales. And the same thing's going to happen with Facebook. But if you work it and really work with your host, then you should be able to have a great show and great results. And so just step out there and do it and give it a try. Courtney and Esther, anything you guys want to add? So what we thought we might do is really encourage you guys to try this out for a week, run with this, do some shows, get them closed for this month. You want to set your end date. So like if you set some shows up this weekend, you want your end date to be a few days before the end of the month. You don't want your end date to be on the 30th, okay? Because then it's going to be hard that's just a lot to get the host, get the order and all that. So you want to set the end date depending on what day the show starts. Run it for 4 or 5 days or run it for a time. So maybe you set up a time on Monday night to do this, or maybe you set up a time, sometime over the holidays to do this. But to make sure that you're closing the show before the 30th so that you can get everything in before the end of the month. And then we thought we might meet back. We'll throw out some times and try to meet back like this for a shorter call the first week of December so that we can kind of readjust and answer any questions or, kind of tweak what's going on and help you guys and do a little bit more kind of a step up from this training to answer more questions. Because once you give it a try, then I think you'll be more comfortable, and then you'll have probably more questions than what you want to ask. So we can definitely do that. So any other questions tonight? Well, we know that we threw a lot at you tonight, but we hope we gave you enough information to make you feel comfortable enough to just go with it, run with it, and try it out. And this could bring a lot of business because you have the ability to network with people through these shows and build your business very quickly like this. So
one thing I wanted to throw out there, I meant to say this earlier and I forgot, but the couple of recipe posts that we've had you guys share the last couple of days, the purpose of those was to get you some likes and hopefully a couple of shares and to have people interacting with you and looking at your page in a positive way. So you want to keep that going, and we'll try to keep some things posted every couple of days. A couple of y'all have been great to remind us when we forget. But you want to look for just fun recipes and, neat things to share out there with no strings attached just to get people liking and interacting on your page, maybe even something tonight before you go to bed. And that way, when you do put up a post tomorrow, asking for people to beta test with you or whichever one of Courtney's posts you choose to use, that way people will see it and you'll get some results.
So just to leave you with this, Becky Adams joined Pampered Chef 15 months ago. She has built an amazing business through both cooking shows and Facebook. And I mentioned that she's a director and she has 4 directors on her team. There's also a lady named Vicki who is on Stacey Itzel's team. She's a friend of mine. And Vicki is a director in Florida. She is 62 or 66 years old, and she's a director. She earned the trip to California to Disneyland last year. And she did 3 cooking shows for the whole year. So I'm not telling you to just go do a Facebook business and not do cooking shows. You're missing out on a lot of fun if you don't do the cooking shows. But what I am telling you is that there's a lot of business out there that you can reach in addition to your cooking shows by maximizing this. So Vicki has built an amazing Facebook business, but it does take a lot of time. I mean, she didn't do this in just a few hours here and there. She, has had to pour a lot of time in to be able to build that. But there's no excuse. 66 years old and she's built an amazing business on Facebook. So I know I'm kind of clueless, but there's really no excuse. We can figure this out and do this. But that just goes to show you there is business out there and there's business to be had. And the people that are going to get the business are the people that go after it. So there's no reason not to enhance your business with this. So thanks for taking the time to come join us tonight. We hope we really gave you some great information to help you go get started. So, and Courtney and Esther, thank you guys so much for your time tonight. They're much wiser on Facebook than I am. So they're great to learn from. Well, bye guys. You guys have a great evening, and we can't wait to hear the results that you're getting from this.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye,
you.
y'all.